Hello, welcome to Your Opinion Podcast. And this is the third episode of this podcast. And like we said, on our first episode, we saw how you guys are overwhelmingly subscribing to the channel and commenting and liking, what you've watched so far. So this third episode, we are also going to be giving you exciting thing that is going on around the world. Like I said earlier, this is not like a news show, but this is like unfiltered opinion of what is going on around the world, especially in the home country of Nigeria and, in the world of sports. So today, as you all know, who is joining me today is my co-host, Jude Chevy. How are you doing today, Jude?
Very well, thanks.
And don't forget, it's your boy Royal, again, on Your Opinion Podcast. So to not take much of your time, please don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, comment on all our social media platforms, because with you guys' help, that's how we are going to be able to be bringing you more episodes of this podcast. So stay tuned and stay connected. Today, I just, want us to continue with our previous conversation about the insecurity issue, because we all know that it's a very, I don't know how to put it, but it's a very concerning situation that's currently going on. And this has been like the 24 days that this group of people have been in captivity of this kidnapper.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we've seen different news regarding, these bandits requesting for ransoms and things from the government.
Ridiculous. They're just ridiculous things that they are requesting for.
Yeah,
so really,
and there's some extent to that, because we are seeing that they've released a video about a day ago. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Yeah, I think I saw
but
something like that.
They've released a video saying that that's not true. The spokesperson for the terrorists, which is one of the teachers, she came online again, and she mentioned that that's not what the terrorists are demanding. That's totally wrong. They don't want the Sharia law into the country. They don't want anything of sort. That what they are demanding for is the government to release some of their, members that are held in Nigerian prison, so they can release them, and then they can release some of these people in their, in this captivity. So, and then it get me to a point of, what are we really doing in that country? How can we have a government that its job is to provide security to its citizens, and they have failed at that? Because, numerous times we've heard, different stories about people being kidnapped, people being raided in their farmland and, taken into custody and demanding ransom. And at the end of the day, they are paying this ransom, but there's nothing, that we see out of the ransom they are paying, because some of them are even, sending back dead bodies of these people, of their family members, which I think is absurd. And I don't think I will be in this time in the world where we will have this kind of insecurity level, that people are very scared. And my sister called me, she told me like, they've canceled school for now because they are scared of what it can result into. So I don't know. What do you think about that? What's your, undiluted opinion regarding that situation? What do you think that the Nigerian government should be doing more, and what are they not doing? Because in my opinion, I think they are not doing anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they are doing a reckless job, and they are not safeguarding anyone. So, what do you have to say?
Well, to be honest, it's really something that is very, very worrisome. I mean, having people back home in the country, the fact that they are scared, and we're also scared right from where we are, because like I said earlier, you don't even know what the future holds for you, right? You can be here today and then tomorrow you just don't know what's going to happen anymore. So the government have been nonchalant in this regarding the case of insecurity, especially when it involves just like an average Nigerian. You understand? Like the poor masses, they really don't, take it too seriously. If you remember, there was a case of a kidnap, one of the APC political personnel right? In the person of Mr. What's his name again? Adelabu, right?
Yeah.
Whose family
Oh,
member,
yeah,
right? Whose
I
family
remember.
member was kidnapped.
Yeah, that was
And
recent,
recently,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it didn't even take up to 3 days, and the police were able to move into swift action to make sure that these people were released. So you see how
Oh,
fast,
they've been released.
yeah, they've been
Okay.
released. You see how
Okay.
how fast these guys moved into action because it concerns a political personnel, right? And this goes to show you that the government do not really care about a common man in the country. The fact that it involves a political person, right? There was a swift movement of action, that led to the release of these people, right? And I even heard that there was a gun battle between, the police and the kidnappers, right, of this victim. And I think a few of the kidnappers were gunned down and so on and so forth. So you see that if the government really wants to do something about situations like this, right, they know what to do.
Right.
But they just decide not to do anything as long as it doesn't really concern their own person, So what we are trying to say in effect is there is no hope for, an average common man in the country, in Nigeria. We do not have hopes, right? And like I said, the government they don't care about the citizens. And the only remedy I think, we have for this situation I will keep emphasizing, is to ensure that we all have our voters card ready to be able to vote out this present administration of, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yeah.
If we really want the country to move, further than the way it is now.
Right.
That's what I think we should do.
Right.
You understand? And I feel like, if we put our heads together as citizens and do the right thing, then I think our country will be a better place for the citizens. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think you are absolutely right on your opinion about that. I just want to add one or two things to what you've said about the people making sure that they vote out this administration. Because we've seen how reckless they are. We've seen the way they mismanage fund. And it just doesn't sit right with me that we have elected officials and their response to all this incident, this tragedy that's happening, is they are even responding to it like it's with such a calmness, things like that happen, there is no urgency to it. And, it's not my family member, thankfully, but I don't think any family should have to go through that, especially little kids, I don't know the scene of those kids right now. They're as young as 5-year-old, and they've been in captivity for over 20 days. And yes, it's not going to make world news. We know that because we know how, general media work. We know where they concentrate their news to, and we know the way they speculate things. So those kind of things would not make the world news.
Yeah.
But what we are going to do is we are going to make sure that we keep talking about it.
Yeah.
And we keep bringing presence to that.
Yeah.
So that the world, we know what is going on. That this has been going on for so long. Right. And the fact that these are little ones that are just, going through this suffering. And even if anything, hopefully something happen very fast. What about the PTSD that those kids are going to have? Every night when I go to bed, in a comfortable place, I feel guilty of, how can people have these sort of different groups where there are some people that are just born into war, or they are born into insecurity, and that's not their choice. Because I'm sure if it's a choice, no one is going to be in such places, right? So and the fact that they are downplaying the incident like it's just a thing that we can just move on, and continue with our daily life. I think it's absurd, and I think that the public are not even doing more. I've been expecting there should be like thousands of people on the streets protesting that, because if it can happen to them, it can happen to you. It doesn't matter who you are. And we've seen an example of that with Adilabu, whatever his name is, because I know him as Kwenkele Messi. So, that's because I used to know, a group of family back in Ibadan. So I know, their family, and you can see how fast they are and able to, secure them, which, they deserve to be secure. They deserve to be in their home.
Obviously.
Yeah. But, we just think that when it comes to people that doesn't have voice, that are, I don't know, living below poverty line, there seems to be the way it's choosing. It's selected in a way that, I think that it's just not enough. It's just not enough.
It is.
So, yeah, and our prayers and my thoughts are with the family, and I hope that something is going to be done about that. And I wish that, this is something that would not have to happen again, and no one should ever have to go through that, So, yeah. But I don't know, what do you think about? Let's talk about this current administration for a little bit.
Okay.
Because now we are seeing that election time is coming up very soon, which is in next year. And we are seeing the campaign and everything going on with all the political leaders, and, how they are getting their primaries done and so on and so forth. So I just want us to touch base on that for a little bit and, hear what do you think about the current political parties in the country, especially when it comes to the way they change party, just like they are changing clothes.
Yeah.
It's just like you are a member of one particular party now. In less than a year, you join something. And as a matter of fact, I want to talk about this because I think maybe you have one or two things to say about that. Okay. Because it concerns Peter Obi. And there's this veteran, is a Nollywood actor, Okonkwo. Kenneth Okonkwo. Yeah, Kenneth Okonkwo. So I was watching the channel news today. Or maybe I don't really remember. Or maybe it's Arise TV, but I don't really remember. So I was watching an interview that he gave concerning Peter Obi, and he said something that I said earlier in our previous podcast. Okay. I said, why do Peter Obi in question, why is he changing party every 3 months? If a lot of people are supporting you and they want you to be a chosen candidate that's going to fight for the people, right?
Yeah, because they believe in your cause and stuff.
In your cause and so on. So I listened to that interview, and he mentioned that he doesn't see Peter Obi as a vision anymore because of, from Labour Party, that a lot of people started to think that, okay, this is kind of like a rigid party that is going to be, I don't know, like the front runner, and they're already garnering a lot of people into that party. And then all of a sudden you change to ADC. And before we go to bed, the next day you are now NDC. I mean, people are not going to keep up with that, So what do you have to say? Because I know you're a real supporter of Peter Obi, so I really want to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, well, in as much as we all, there are many of us that actually believe in the cause of Peter Obi, right? We believe in what he can actually do because he's had past record of what he's done and how competent we think or we believe he is and stuff. But what I don't actually buy, and I think it's going to be, maybe little of a problem for him, is the fact that he goes from one party to the other, right? Yeah. I feel like the best way to do this thing is by, this particular party that they've known you for, how when you started and all that. If you know that there's a problem, I feel like the best way to actually curtail or actually, do away with this problem is to restructure, try and get the all the places that are you feel might have gone wrong. Just try and make it, try and get it right, and maintain that party. Try and build momentum, try and build structure, rather than going from one party to the other. Because we all know majority of Nigerians, actually vote by parties.
Yes,
Do you understand?
For sure. That's
They
for
vote.
sure.
They actually get influenced by parties. So you see, maybe like an average Nigeria, or should I say maybe a few Nigerians that do not really know what it takes to actually, support the person who is actually representing that party. All they know is just the party, because maybe they've been hearing about that party for the longest of time.
Right.
So they've actually grown to believe in that party, to love in that party. So they don't really know, what has actually transpired or what may have gone wrong in that party. So they just go to vote for that party because that's what they actually know.
Right.
Or that's what they have known for a long period of time.
Right.
So I feel like it's going to be a problem for him because, people coming to vote, there are a lot of people that may have not known that, PWB has actually defected or, left the former party and gone to, the new party.
One, yeah.
Which is
I think that's
which is going to be a very big problem,
I think so.
So I think P2B, should actually work on structuring his party, right? The one he, people like the one with a large population where people know him, what people know him for, what particular party people know him for and stuff, rather than moving from one party to the other. But since it has happened, I think there should be more awareness on these new parties because I'm very certain that there are a lot of people that do not know that he has actually moved from one party to the other.
Of course. Because I was asking sorry to cut you short.
Yeah.
I was asking my sister the other day and I said, oh, by the way, do you know Peter Obi? Do you know that, he is no longer in his previous party? And she said, oh, she left Labour Party. I said, oh, no. He already left that party to join another one, which is ADC. And now he's in NDC. Yeah. And she was like, really? When was that?
It's really, really concerning. Like I said,
cannot keep up.
Yeah, you can't actually keep up. Because the more you move from one party to the other, the more you lose followers. You lose followers and stuff. Because like I said, there are a lot of people that do not know that you have actually, defected or actually left the previous party that you're popularly known for.
Right.
So in as much as I believe in his structure, I believe in his competence, and his transparency as a political personnel, I feel like this, moving from one party to the other is going to be a problem for him, right, in this upcoming election. But anyways, like I said, the only remedy to this situation, like it has already happened, what I think, should be the right thing to be done is creating awareness, about these new parties. And if there's a way also Nigerian politics, if there's a way in Nigerian politics that they can actually scrap, so many parties and what, I feel like
they can do that.
That's really gonna, help. But how it is with, having to, with the political stuffs in Nigeria. So I don't think this is something that they would want to do anytime soon.
No.
But I feel like if they actually do that, that would be, a good thing for, the citizens and all, so that they can be enlightened, as to know who it is they want to vote for in this particular party and, have, how do I call it? Like have an idea of, just basically little parties that we have in the country. But if they are just vast, like there are too many, it's going to be difficult for like an average Nigerian to know, who is actually fit for that particular party, who is actually in that particular party they're voting for, rather than just voting for party, because they just want to vote. You understand?
Right.
So that's what I think. I think this is actually going to affect him because, like I said, he may have lost lots of followers because, like I said, there are a lot of people who do not know that this has actually happened. But I think they should create more awareness on, these parties that, that are just being set up. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yes, that's a good point. They should make awareness to average people that are not keeping up with social media, because I was able to know that through social media. Imagine people that doesn't have access to good internet. They're going to know that. So it's they need to make awareness about that, and they need to stop changing party. As a matter of fact, they need to stop. Keep changing parties. you're going to be losing followers, and at the end of the day, you're not going to be elected. Because one thing that APC party know how to do best is how to restructure their party and gain more followers and try to buy other people to join them, through threat or whatever. Right. So if you actually want to compete with these people, I think it's the right time that you stop, thinking like an educated person, because many people that are going to go to the polling unit are not, professors, are not doctors. They are common person. They are the one that will go there because they are the one that have time, right, to go and do that. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if Nigeria is doing a mail-in ballot like the way the rest of the world does. So I don't really know if they do that. And, if they are not still doing that currently, definitely is, everyday average Nigeria that usually go to vote. So they need to start thinking like APC if you want to defeat them.
Yeah, actually.
So moving on from that, because, there's a lot of things to say when it comes to political
Nigerian
structure.
politics,
And, it's a lot, to be honest, it's a lot. But I want us to talk about this influencer of a thing in the country, right? And this can be a very sensitive topic because I think, a lot of people are trying to have an online presence. And I think that we need to be very conscious about what we are giving platform, people that are being platformed, and this is very important to me because I think it's something that a lot of people need to start talking about. And that's the likes of people that go on the streets, in the streets of Lagos, right? And started influencing these people, this group of people. I don't want to be sexist about that because, it's mainly women, and as a man, I don't think I have right to talk about the way women should live their life or whatever, because believe me, that's not my point, and I'm not going to do that. But I just wanted to talk about the aspect that I think it can be wrong.
Do you have a specific name?
Well, I don't know these people personally, so I'm not even paying attention to their name. I'm just paying attention to what they are saying out, which I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Like you can see that there are some interviews that are, you watch on TikTok or you watch on Instagram Reels, and they are interviewing these people, these single ladies, and they're asking them how much they are worth. And you will see some people saying they are worth 50 million based on what they put on.
Ridiculous.
Right? Yeah. And then I'll be like, really? Really? You worth this amount of money? Like, this is total lie. You know what I mean? This is total lie because I just cannot believe that there will be people that, you are still hustling on the street and then your complete is, you have a wig of 20 million, you have a, your outfit is like 25 million, and then your shoe is 10 million, and
even though they're actually,
even though if it costs that much, but which I believe is totally ridiculous. Which I think is totally ridiculous.
Like that.
Right? They're just hyping themselves. And that is the reason why I'm sorry that we are going back to politics. That is the reason the country is not improving. Because you cannot be telling people that you're worth that and they are seeing you on the street on a normal. If you put on something worth of such, you must actually be one of the prominent person in that society if you can afford that. Maybe you have a business that you can actually, show proof of that this is a actual legitimate business that you are making money off of, But if you're just an influencer or something, and there are a lot of kids at home, and social media can be good and it can be bad. Right. And if you're putting on this kind of thing and telling people that you're just, it's just ridiculous.
It doesn't make sense.
It's just ridiculous.
It doesn't make sense.
Right. So I don't know how we are doing that. How we are platforming people like that and giving them that platform and saying all these ridiculous things, I mean, I'm not against buying things on your body. Yeah, it's your money. Yeah. But I don't think this group of people actually have that certain amount of money.
Yeah.
Just like you will see, there was one particular TikTok reels as well. And there was this lady, she said she was 21. And I think about a year later, they interview her again and she still repeats 21.
She she's 21.
And then people kind of put it together like, bros,
Don't
you know
get
the
old?
age.
you don't get old, right?
You know the age.
21.
How come you are 21 last year and you're 21 again this year? So it's so interesting to see that. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's really not a nice thing. I mean, it's very, very disturbing to see, such kind of influencers coming online to falsify their identity, right? And there are plenty of people, from the outside world, because we all know social media is not a real world. The real world is outside of social media, right?
Exactly.
So this have a negative, effect on so many people watching, not just children, even like grown-ups.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Having to see them coming online to say, I bought this watch for, $1 million.
And then you started looking at your life. What are you doing wrong?
And then you start feeling depressed. You start having mental breakdown, and it's like you're not doing anything. You start seeing yourself as like someone who's not even putting any effort towards ensuring that you are just like them and all that. That is really, really disturbing. It can actually lead to suicide. It can actually lead to criminal activities, theft and all that. From the viewers.
Because you can be looking at people making this huge amount, and you're looking at them and looking at yourself like, what are they doing right that you are doing wrong? And these people are definitely lying. Just like Blessed CEO, when he went to a building and started claiming that this was a house back then, before he was caught, and then he started apologizing that, oh no, it's I was just using it as a prank or whatever. Definitely
just to gain audience.
Yeah, just to gain audience. And if you know what a lot of these people are doing behind closed door, you'll be surprised. Recently, we see that she I think she take like 30 something million naira from someone, and this same Blessing CEO, right?
That's what she's been probed for. I think
again
that's what she was arrested for.
Again,
when she has like an ongoing case of falsifying a document,
stage 4 cancer,
claiming to be a cancer patient.
That is why you need to be very, very selective when it comes to what people are watching on social media, because I think a lot of these people are showing you fake life, and if you fall for it, then it's your own peril. Because
social media is definitely not real life.
This is faked. They are faking their life.
Many of those influencers are battling so many things, but they just come online and make you feel worthless, right? I don't know if that's a way of them, trying to, make themselves feel good. You understand? Because obviously I know there are a lot of them that are definitely facing one or two, problems. You understand? But if that is their means of actually, suppressing that depression, coming out to make themselves look perfect and all that, well, that's their own cup of tea. But it's a very, very big disadvantage to the people that are viewing from the outside, because they actually assume that what it is you're claiming to have is actually real, and then it put them in a state of, confusion in their head, and like I said, it can actually lead to depression and
criminal activities
and criminal activities,
right.
And then you can end up being suicidal.
Right.
When you try to, considering the fact that you as a common person, you've worked so hard, but considering how the situation of the government is, nothing is forthcoming,
right?
And you feel like you're worthless and all that. You just end up thinking about wanting to commit suicide. So I think those kind of influencers should actually consider these things. But who are we? Because these guys still come online and do these things
who are
on
we
a consistent basis.
Yeah, who are we is people to make sure that people are aware that these things they are actually not true. They are just lies.
Yeah.
They are lies. It's everyone is struggling behind closed door.
Yeah.
They just choose to show you the reality that is not real. because they will say it's a reality, but it's not real reality. So I think we need to, point that out and let people know that don't rush yourself. Everyone is struggling.
Yeah.
Everyone is going through hardship. Even the best of us.
Of course.
They are going through
life
that.
is a phase, right?
Right.
Life is a journey. You have to graduate from one stage of life to the other. You don't just start getting things from God knows, from the beginning. You have to go through phases of life before you can actually become one very wealthy person and all that. It doesn't mean things don't change in a twinkle of an eye. Things happens, right? You can be lucky enough to actually get things right without struggling. We know all these things, right? But at the end of the day, you just don't have to do things that you're not supposed to do because you feel like you're lacking behind.
Right.
Probably because you've seen what the influencers are showing you and what they are telling you, making you feel like you're not doing anything, you're actually pressing, you're not pushing forward and all that. You get. Meanwhile, what it is they're actually telling you is just false. It's not true. So do well to actually take your time, be very, very patient with life, and eventually you reap, the benefit of your hard work and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah. So, and I think that's the reason why there are some people that would not agree with Gege University.
Gege is a very blunt person. I like him so much. I mean, he's so direct.
Yeah. Before I don't really actually listen to this guy stream. But recently I've been watching his streams.
They say he's against women.
Yeah, yeah. But there are some things that I think there are some things that he articulated well.
Yeah.
And pointed out that you can't be demanding a sort of equality, and then when it comes to the other side of actually being supportive, and then it's like, no, you are a man, you should, and that take me to the topic of feminism. Like I will consider myself as a feminist, because I would say so. I would consider myself as a feminist, and being feminist is not even. I can go as far as not saying that it's even equality. It's like equity. Just like when we watch the podcast of the bunch,
the
honest bunch, right? And there was this brilliant lady that was there, and she was so articulated and defined what it means to be feminist. Right. And I watched that podcast from the beginning to the end. And it was able to prove everyone in that podcast.
I'm not sure it's the same lady because I also watched, she's been trending for, misleading so many women.
Well, I don't think she's misleading.
She's been trending, but there are a lot of videos of hers that I've seen that is misleading, to be honest. Yes, I support the idea of feminism, right? I mean, if for those that actually understand what feminism is all about, not being a misandrist. Do you understand? Yeah, I understand. If we are both working in a sector, right, and we do the same job, right, and being paid a certain amount of money, you should also be paid the same amount of money, right? Because we actually basically do the same thing.
Yeah.
It is understandable. So many other things. But when it comes to equating feminism with you being a misandrist, because most of them actually act as, the way they talk, that these people actually are going through, a certain heartbreak that they have refused to actually put behind them, and they're acting like they're hit men. Yeah, there are a lot of them that are like that. I don't understand mentioning names.
But I want to.
The idea of if you really do understand what feminism is all about, right? And I feel like so many Nigerian women, many of the ones that actually come out to claim they are feminists, actually do not know what the meaning of feminism is. They are misandrists, but they don't know. You understand? So they hide under the disguise of feminism just so that they can actually pour out their grievances, their angers towards men. You understand?
Yeah. But I think because of her, I'm not gonna talk about a previous podcast or what she had said in the past, but based on because people can actually change, And I think based on what I've watched on that particular segment in that podcast was I see her as someone that know what she wants. And people, I think what people don't get right about what she was saying, she was actually not against
I saw a
men.
video of her today, this morning, when
Yeah.
she clearly, obviously stated, I think I don't know which of the podcasts she went to, she was stating that if a man comes to her, right, with, money, too much money, like how he started is how he should continue until, like, if he doesn't have the money anymore, he should fuck off. Like, if he wants to come back to her, he should make sure he comes back with that same amount of money he started with. Do you understand? I mean, which is a very misleading statement.
Well, I think
she was basically putting herself.
I think we can agree and disagree, because why I said that is because she said that is what she wants. She's talking about herself, her life. And then if people are equating that to theirs, I think that's where they are getting it wrong.
That is why
she wasn't.
Listen.
Okay.
We were just talking about influencers,
right,
and how they impact the lives of the viewers negatively, right? Many of these influencers come to say what it is they're putting on. They didn't say, I want you to buy this, for this amount. I bought this for 2 million. I bought this for this. I bought this for that. Do you understand? They're just saying it. They're saying what it is, right? They know about themselves, whether it is falsified or whatever, right? So it goes back to what we are talking about. So if you're trying to defend her for saying, for saying that she is actually talking about herself, it doesn't mean that people that are actually watching her should actually be like her or do what she says. No, this can be misleading, just like what we said about the influencers.
Yeah.
Right? If you can actually do this and then we condemn the influencers for putting out like wrong informations, what we think is actually wrong informations to the viewers out there. Why can't we condemn this when we think that this could be actually misleading?
Right.
Imagine you as a married man, having a wife who gets to listen to this lady. Right. And then all of a sudden she starts acting differently. What do you think? Has she not been misled? She has actually been impacted negatively.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I don't think, a lady coming out to say all those things, right, is, in as much as she might be talking about herself, but she should also understand that there are a lot of people who thinks, she's a role model.
Yeah, that might actually follow her.
That might actually follow her and all that. So
yeah,
very misleading.
I understand your point.
So if you want to talk about feminism, equity, like equality amongst men and women, especially when they do the same thing and all that, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things that she said, and I think there are some things that we would disagree on. Definitely, there are some things I don't agree on with her. But I think what she's trying to let the society understand is that we shouldn't put women into a certain box of how they need to react or how they need to act. If it's okay for men to do it and the world moves on, why can't they do it as well and let the world also move on? So, and I there are some certain things that I believe that men has the strength to perform well, in those things, physically strength, right? I know, and there are some women that are very, very, powerful physically, to perform some certain thing. But maybe men can outperform them in those things. But that doesn't mean that they should, like things like an office work or being a CEO or, an actor, all those things, then they are performing the same job in the same manner, and then they are being paid less than that. I think we can both agree on that. That's not. So, and I think that she's trying to just articulate some points. Of course, we would totally. I think people that have the right sense of mind, when you watch some things, you should be able to dissect that.
Yeah,
and look at what you want to take out from it. Because that's a conversational.
Yeah, you and I know how an average mindset of a Nigerian is. Many of
not
them,
just Nigeria, I think the world generally.
Yeah, but the podcast is a Nigerian podcast, right?
No, she's actually from the UK.
I know, but she came on the Honest Bunch.
Yeah,
show. So obviously,
it's for the Nigerian viewers.
Population of the viewers would be Nigerians, right?
Right.
They're actually going to see these things. So I feel like, she is saying that with influence. Like I said, it's we know what it is for an average, how it is with an average Nigerian, especially when it comes to what they see on the internet.
Right.
You understand? Especially the Facebook users and all that. You know how they take things hook, line, and sinker. You get, without filtering, without just picking the points. They just they just buy the whole idea and all that.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Right. So if these things happen, this kind of situations happens, and we have people like that, then we should be rest assured that there are going to be a lot of negativity, in the country. Do you understand? So it's all about the influencers putting out what it is they're putting out for the people, from the people that are outside, the viewers, to actually see, take what it is they want to take and all that. So if they can actually look for a way to, I know, like I said, we do not. The only thing we can actually do is say it, talk. Do you understand? It doesn't stop them from coming out online to still do what it is they want to do or say what it is they want to say. You understand? But they should try. If there's any way possible, they should try. Or this is just a message to the viewers. Do not take all those things you see on social media. Do you understand? Do not take everything. Everything is not... Social media is not reality. Maybe, who knows, for some reason, that lady might not even be exactly who she claims to be, on the media. Right? But she comes out to deceive. I don't know if it's a calculated attempt to actually buy audience for followers purpose, or it's a calculated attempt to deceive people. Do you understand? So please, viewers, just try to filter what it is you get online. Do things at your own pace. Do not be deceived. And I'm sure if you can be able to do that, you get things right.
Right. Well, I think, well, for me, there are some things that I see in what she said that I think I agree on, and there are some things that she said that I don't agree on, just as what the other guy said, that I think there are a lot of things that he said that I agree on, and there are a lot of things that I said that I don't agree on because of the way he mentioned, women and proving the lady right about taking them back 500 years ago, which I think was a ridiculous statement from his part.
I understand that.
And I'm sure that when he watched that video, he would have, say, I wish I didn't say that, because that was a very backward mind to say that, So, but
it's more like you're wishing that you could turn back the hands of time, so you could actually subject the ladies to. Yeah, no, I'm not a
mental
fan of
slavery.
I'm not a fan of. There are men like that who
actually want
subject their wife to some certain kind of slavery activities in the house, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You people are couple, right? You people are a couple.
Yeah, you're equal.
You're meant to live like, help each other.
Right.
It doesn't have to be because you are the man, then you want to subdue her because you feel like she's a woman, she's feminine in nature and stuff. You understand? So you have to just try and be accommodating, try and make sure you do things together as husband and wife. And I'm very certain that if these things actually, we put these things in place, I don't think we'll be having so many broken homes in like just the way we do have them in Nigeria. So, I think that's the best thing to do.
And I also wanted to...
It doesn't stop you from being a man. It doesn't still stop you from being a man. It doesn't still stop you from stamping your authority as a man of the house. It doesn't make you a simp. If you are this kind of person who, who is looking like maybe you're quick to forgive, it doesn't change who you are, right? It's just you being who you are, right? But you should still understand the fact that, okay, you are the man of the house. There should be something that tells you in your head that, okay, I am the husband, I am the leader of the house, right? But it shouldn't be at the detriment of your wife's happiness. Do you understand? You get the point? The fact that you are the man of the house, or you feel like you're the supreme leader of the house, doesn't mean you should subject your wife to slavery. Do you understand? So just know your position as the man of the house. Do you understand? And make sure that you live, in harmony and understanding with your woman. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's going to be, a better thing to do.
Yeah. And I think, men, to support what you said, I think there is something they call men fragility or fragility. I don't know the right word, but it's a mental state where men feel like they are being attacked when a woman knows what she wants, and that woman that is very vocal about what she wants and what she looks forward to a man, then a man, that's where a man fragility comes in, because a man would be looking at that woman at like, you shouldn't be, this career oriented or too forwarding or too buoyant, So it's like pacing to caring for a man because you don't want to make them feel offended, right? And I think that is what is going on right now in the world, because a lot of men feel like, there's too much of attack from the other gender, and it's making them regress back. I mean, not for someone like me, of course, because I don't think, no matter what, maybe I'm too overconfident in myself, because if someone is very confident, I even like women that are very career oriented
Of course,
and very
everybody
confident
likes.
and very vocal. Like if I did something and they call me out immediately, I like that, because I feel like, that is her knowing her right and standing on business, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Rather than trying to pace into my feelings or emotion. Yes, we can be very emotional with each other, but there are some point that you need to keep people on ground and let them understand that, no, you can't do that to me, or I know what I want and I'm going to go for it. So, if you're an average man, definitely there will be an average woman for you. So yeah, of course, right? So
There's
it's all
every
right
man for every woman.
for everyone. So I don't know if you have any more things that you want to add to this, because we want to.
No, I don't think there's anything much to say. We've said it all.
Okay.
We've said it all. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything left to say. As time goes on, there are more things to say. About feminism.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
how women
And men
actually-
fragility as well.
Yeah, and how
Yeah.
women and men actually perceive feminism in
The
the country.
patriarchy of the society. Yeah.
Patriarchy too.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk about this some other time. But for the meantime, I think this is all we have to put out
Touch
there
base on.
about
Yeah.
feminism and all that.
All right. Well, this is a very interesting conversation, because I really, enjoy our time together, as always, bringing, different things about what we think, about our opinion.
Very nice
So
ideas.
once you watch this episode, please share what you think about different things that we touch base on in the world of football, in the insurgency and insecurity in the country, and also about influencer and feminism. So please, guys, we want to hear what your thoughts are. We need your comments. We need you to share. We need you to follow. And our handles on every social media is Your Opinion Podcast. So stay connected and subscribe. Thank you.